Hello once again, my name is Ace Cosplay and today I'm doing another revisitation of an older video that I noticed some people are discovering a bit more recently. But again, like some of my older ones, it's not that great and I wish to improve upon what I've done, and that's the collection video. Kind of obvious by the title, but my collection has also grown in the last few years, and I know people like to be nosy and see other people's collections, so today I'm going to take you through literally everything nerdy that I own that I can find, because some stuff is somewhere in cupboards as well, so all the nerdy stuff I have on show, I'm going to show you today. So, starting off with the obvious, the one that you guys know, this is my Shepperton Design Studios Stormtrooper armour, modified and weathered. It sits on the mannequin up in the corner of my room with its shoes off and just happily watches over everything that I do. You kind of get used to it being in here so you don't wake up in the middle of the night and think, oh my god, who's that standing in your room? So that's cool. This here was the first comic book painting I ever did and I quite like it, so it's up on my wall. This is where my fellow Star Wars fans get mad at me. I do have a very large Phantom Menace poster up on my wall signed by, I think it's 18 of the cast members, so including all the main ones, like you got Liam Neeson, Natalie Portman, Ewan McGregor's is down there, Jake Lloyd, Jar Jar. But I was in the era where the prequels were something that I grew up with, so I don't have as much hatred for it as the people who grew up with the original trilogy. Of course, the original trilogy for me is always the best and what sits in my heart, because contrary to some people's belief, I do have great nostalgic love for the original trilogy. Sitting in my parents' bedroom watching the VHS tapes when I was bored on a weekend, I'd just marathon the Star Wars trilogy. And then this came out, and I liked it when I was a kid, and of course you grow up and you realise, maybe not. But it's still pretty cool. This was a present, so I've got this up with pride, because it's still Star Wars, okay? If you're a Star Wars fan, still respect the canon, okay? Just don't kill me. Moving over to my chest of drawers now, like I said in the last video, the stuff on top of here changes all the time, just depending on where I move things. So for here we've just got a small section of comic books. These are like literally just the only comic books I have anymore. They're all Spider-Man. I recently got into more Superior Spider-Man and the new run of Amazing Spider-Man, including the Spider-Verse. I've got some more comic books over in another room because I'm using them as art reference. So this isn't the full collection, but it is most of it because I don't have that many comic books anymore. A range of some weapons. This is a Ruby's E11 given to me by one of the other members of the Imperial Outlanders, so I will give that a repaint and either keep it or give it over to somebody else who requires an E11. This is the Kylo Ren lightsaber. This one has actually been repainted, so it looks a little bit more worn, because I don't really like the basic toy version, so that's pretty cool. As much as I think Kylo Ren is very whiny and I hate for what he did to Han, I do like his lightsaber. And it's of course next to Senpai Vader's, so it doesn't feel too lonely. My Doopy Doo's E11 resin blaster, which sits on here and is very weighty, so it doesn't sit on there properly. Random Star Wars things. R2 alarm clock and a Pez dispenser. This is my signed photo of Alfred Molina, one of my favourite actors, and I think I scared him off because I tried to talk to him on Twitter and he doesn't reply to me anymore. But let that be a lesson to people, don't stalk your favourite actors, they get scared. I'm nice, honestly, I am. I just wanted to say hi. This here is a little bit battered and as you can see covered in dust, but this is my Trandoshan head sculpt. It's all done in an oil-based clay, so as you can see I can still like move stuff, hence why things have been dented, because I've caught it or it's fallen over. Because one day, eventually, I will get around to casting this, because I'm quite pleased. This is the first proper sculpt that I've ever done, so I'd like to keep it as a reference for, you know, improving in the future, so I'd like a proper copy of it. So one day I'll get around to doing that. And there's a really crap painting of Alfred Molina in the corner. Ignore that. I'm trying to practice faces, I'm not very good at them. Up on the wall here, I need to get like a proper frame for it. It's currently just hung on by duct tape in an airtight bag. This is an original Spider-Man 2 production use storyboard for one of the end scenes for the main fight between Spider-Man and Doc Ock in Pier 56, which is awesome. Even on the back, they've whoever had this storyboard wrote notes for the measurements of the Doc Ock rig to go in the sail, which is really cool for someone like me. Just ah, I love it, and I keep meaning to do like various sketches copying these designs. These are my DVDs. These are mostly the nerdy ones. I don't have a very big shelf, so I do have to limit myself to how many Doctor Who DVDs that I buy. So I don't own any William Hartnell. I know that is sacrilege, but I don't own any of his DVDs. I own one Patrick Troughton, then that's all the John Pertwees I own. And then Tom Baker's, and then we start with Peter Davison, Colin Baker, and then the majority of mine are Sylvester McCoy, purely because of his companion Ace. Recognise the name? That's what the channel's named after. Random ones, Red Dwarf, because Red Dwarf is a fantastic show. If you like Doctor Who, you'll like Red Dwarf, and vice versa. There's a few Alfred Molina films. Dudley Do-Right is the cheesiest and probably one of my most favourites. I love it. I don't know why. It's that 90s slapstick comedy. It's great. Spider-Man, let's ignore that one. Spider-Man 3 doesn't exist. So we've got the Sam Raimi films. The Spectacular Spider-Man, which is a really good animated series that got cancelled, so I've only got a couple of volumes of them because I'm missing volume 3. And then the 90s animated Spider-Man, which is like the holy grail of Spider-Man cartoons. If you're a Spidey fan, you can find these online and in occasions in pound stores, so go have a look because these ones are awesome. And that's a 3D animated series that came out just after the first Raimi movie, I think. And it's not too bad. But I prefer these ones. And there's a few more spare Doctor Who DVDs up there that couldn't fit. And Thor. That's on loan, I need to give that back. You can see here, there's just some posters up on the side. My Vader one's got a little bit squished. But Your Empire Needs You. There's a sketch of David Tennant. Not done by me, unfortunately. I wish I could do that. Pictures of Alfred Molina, because why the hell not? There's a picture of me and my friend Anthony, so me and Doc Ock and him as Spider-Man. We go upside down. You can see the other way around. That looks pretty cool. For people that have seen the last video, you'll be happy to know that none of these pictures are straight. Still haven't fixed that. Probably never will. Right, so I'm going to go through these in order, left to right. So you've got Kate O'Mara, who played the Rani in Doctor Who. Louise Jameson, who was Leela in Doctor Who. Ian de Casteca, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce his surname. That's Fitz from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He is absolutely adorable. Clark Gregg. I wish that I'd say I got this when I met him, but I didn't. This was a present that was bought for me online. I haven't met Clark Gregg. I want to, of course. My favourite Avenger and my current huge crush, Agent Coulson. Don't you judge me, he's amazing. Matthew Waterhouse, Adric from Doctor Who. Julian Glover, most of you will know him as General Veers from Empire Strikes Back, but he's also been in several Doctor Who episodes as a few villains, and also been in Indiana Jones. Dave Prowse, the legendary man inside the Darth Vader suit. Jeremy Bulloch, the one, the only badass Boba Fett. Tom Baker, everybody's favourite 4th Doctor. Sophie Aldred, who plays Ace, the 7th Doctor's companion in Doctor Who. And my favourite companion, and the person I got my nickname from, so she's a huge part of my fandom, and is a good inspiration to me. Nicholas Courtney, the Brigadier from Doctor Who. John Levine, Sergeant Benton, the Brigadier's right-hand man, again from Doctor Who. Sylvester McCoy, the 7th Doctor, my favourite Doctor, and Doctor to Ace. Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor. I do love his Doctor, even though we only got the one TV movie, but I will listen to his audiobooks at some point in the future. Christopher Eccleston, the 9th Doctor, the one that everybody skips. Don't skip 9, okay? Trust me, his episodes are actually pretty good for early New Who. Colin Baker, the 6th Doctor, the one that the fandom does seem to be kind of towards, but he's a lovely gentleman, so be nice. Ignore his costume, be nice. John Leeson, K9. I think that's John. I always get the names wrong. Of course, I've got stormtroopers on the side here. This one I want to repaint to look like my armour, because now I've got 2 of these stormtroopers. Rule of 2. If I get 2, I repaint one. Captain Phasma. It's a shame they couldn't make these toys like more chrome, because it's just a really dull silver, but she still looks cool. I'm forgiving you for doing very little in episode 7 if you come back in episode 8 and kick someone's buttocks. TIE Fighter Pilot, because they are absolutely bamfy. This is the custom Stormtrooper of me, made before I had all my armour weathered. So underneath, there's my face. That's also before I got my hair cut to the quiff that you see now. That's how my hair used to be. There's a Black Series Stormtrooper, because I love the Black Series troops. Captain Phasma and a First Order Stormtrooper. Lego Stormtrooper alarm clock. Everything I own is Stormtrooper related. You will come to find this out very soon. This is a Stormtrooper comlink that isn't attached to my armour, through fear of it falling off and me losing it, because it's a really small item, but it's cool. Mouse droid. I'm also reading Star Wars Aftermath. I say reading, I haven't started it yet, but it's there. It's next to my bed. We'll start reading it, like, now. Well, not right now. We've got to finish the video first. So, in this drawer here, so you can see some old gems. Original Game Boy. My first actual Game Boy, my Game Boy Color. Still works. I love it to bits. There is a Game Boy Advance in here somewhere. Ah, there it is. Hidden under one of my other Star Wars books. PSP. There's a Game Boy Advance SD. A few games. And then we got this, which is the Book of Survival. It's gone a bit oxidized because of the strapping that was on it. But this was actually a gift given to me. And it's of course based off of Survival, which is one of my favourite classic Doctor Who episodes. It was the very last one of the classic TV series that was ever aired. It's a Silver Doctor episode with Ace and the Master. I actually own Anthony Ainley's autograph. It's been altered so it looks like my name on there. But, so Anthony Ainley died back in 2004, I think it was, so I never got the chance to see him, so I am very lucky to actually be able to own his autograph. You got Lisa Bowerman, who plays Cara, which is that one, and I've done the costume of that several years ago. You'll be able to find it up on my channel. Sophie Aldred, I think she knows who I am by now. She's signed enough autographs for me, and I've talked to her on Twitter a couple of times. And of course, Sylvester. Happy birthday. Thank you, Sylv. Loves ya. Because, yeah, it was for my birthday. 6th of June. Reference for anybody if you want to send me stuff. I'm only joking. Don't send me things. Moving on over here, we've got my life-size standee of David Tennant wearing my Lavrazi Tom Baker scarf, which I think really suits him. Got a poster of Peter Capaldi. Jenna was on there, but I cut her off because 1, I didn't have enough room, and 2, Clara. Peter Capaldi is now definitely one of my top favourite Doctors. He's amazing, so I'm honoured to have a picture of him up on my wall. Superior Spider-Man. Exercise goals, because I really want that suit. This was a gift given to me by one of the members of the Imperial Outlanders, all handmade. His name was Ken, and he gave it to me at the MCM Expo back in October. So thank you for that. That sits very proudly on top of my thing next to my Stormtrooper armour. And on my cupboard door there is a Stormtrooper, but in there is just a load of crap, including the unfinished Green Goblin costume. So if I open the door, stuff might fall out. My nan makes cushions, so made me a really cool Star Wars cushion that glows in the dark. And one with my car on it. You're not allowed to see my license plate. Moving on up to my windowsill. This is a picture of me as Doc Ock without the shades, and the legend himself, Stan Lee. This was at London Film and Comic Con 2014, I think it was. He was totally amazed with the costume, which was awesome. It made me very happy to get, you know, the creator of Doc Ock's approval. So I've got the creator and the actor's approval, so I know I did a good job. This was the first bit of print media that I was in, and the first bit of print media that Doc Ock has been in. FHM, really surprisingly. I can't tell you the weird looks I get when I tell people I've been in FHM. What gives you your nerdiest boner? And there's a picture of me there with the dumbest answer in the world and a misspelt name. They didn't actually ask you that question, they asked you something else, which is probably why I've got a really dumb answer. But there you go. This is a cuddly Boba Fett that I won on a claw machine at an arcade, so he is a prize worth keeping, because those things are like gold dust trying to get anything on there. So he stays there. Next to my Ewan McGregor autograph that I got many, many years ago. I think it was in 2000, or even probably 2001, because I remember getting it after Phantom Menace came out, and I wrote to his agent person and I got an autograph sent back, so I've had this for quite a few years. It's awesome. It's the first autograph I ever got, I think. Yeah, I think that's true. Cuddly Stormtrooper because you could never have enough. I've got the man in the suit, and now I've got the voice. James L. Jones. When I met David Tennant, look at the smile on my face. You can tell this was a very happy moment, and look at the smile on his face. You can tell he'd been there for hours, and he just wanted to go home. Also, look where my hand is. Right by his side. He had a very nice waist, I can tell you that. His wife is a very lucky woman, and also very nice, because I met her at the same convention I met him, and we had a nice conversation. I'd still try and steal him away, you know. There's a random canvas of stormtroopers on my wall, because you can never have enough stormtroopers in your life. The certificate of authenticity for my Shepard Design Studio stormtrooper armour. Even though people don't like SGS stuff, I really like mine, so I'm proud to have mine up on the wall. The picture that came on the back of the box when I got my PS4 for Christmas, because it came with Battlefront, and it's a pretty nice picture of Vader, so I thought, let's fill up some wall space. These were postcards that I found at a cinema, obviously, a month or so after Force Awakens was released, so they didn't have any of the other characters. They only had Finn and Rey, and a random one at the Millennium Falcon. You see over on the side here, if you ignore the picture of me with an owl, that's my ticket to Love's Labour's Lost. That's the first time I ever saw David Tennant, like, properly in the flesh. It was a school trip back in 2008. I absolutely loved it. I've got a couple of really cool money boxes. These were gifts from a couple of my friends, so I've got R2-D2, which currently doesn't have anything in it, but I'm sure I'll fill up this one quick enough that I'll have to start using that one, because I, for some reason, just accumulate change, like, too much. And this is a 50th anniversary TARDIS money box I got for my birthday, and it's cool because it's chrome and it's shiny. But R2-D2's bigger. Let's not start a size war. I got a really cool plushie Iron Man. He's so cute. One of my handmade baby Groots. Yeah, this is one of the first ones I did, but I think this is actually number 6. But an old lady knocked him off the shelf, so his pot is all cracked and broken, and I had to do a couple of repairs on him, so I thought I'd keep him as my own one. And that's one of the pop vinyl Groots. I'm not really a collector of pop vinyls. The only one I bought myself was Agent Coulson, because that's like one of the few figures Agent Coulson has. It's this and the Hot Toys version of him, and the Hot Toys one is like £150. So I thought I'll go for the cheaper one and get a Pop Funko figure. I like it because if the camera focuses, come on camera, you've got a really cool transfer of his badge. Phil Coulson. Have I mentioned that I really, really like this guy? The only other Pop Funkos in my collection, First Order Stormtrooper and Captain Phasma. Of course, this is my wonderful, lovely, adorable BB-8 who sits on my desk and beeps away at me when I'm doing my work. Then up here we've got the big one. This is where I discovered, actually, I can do comic book paintings fairly well. There is a speed paint of this on my channel if you want to check out the process of making this. But I was so happy with this because it's actually a cover-up of an old Spider-Man painting that I'd done that I really wasn't pleased with. So I thought, okay, instead of wasting it, let's cover it up and let's try something new. So we've got my comic book version of a panel from the comic Web of Death, where I just removed all the text boxes and removed a character from the background, so it's just my favourite villain and my favourite hero. I also have some game stuff, so I've got all the Vault-Tec stats from Fallout 4 that comes with the game on my wall. And sort of another game thing that comes with the case, I've got a map of Los Santos as well, because I do love GTA 5. Hidden down below here is the Captain Phasma box that my friends also got me along with my R2-D2 money box, which is awesome, and I have found a use for it. If I open it up, there's not much in there at the moment, but that probably will fill up over time. It's face paints and stuff, so I can start doing more face paint videos, and also foundation and a bronzer, because I'm going to attempt to do a gender swap one at some point. So look out for that soon. Hopefully I'll be able to get them right. And behind here, something that I will repaint, but be very careful about covering the autograph from. It's, again, one of my early stencil pieces that got signed by Sylvester McCoy. But I will cover Sylv. And then I just want to redo the stars in the background, that's all I really. Last but not least, big ass Darth Vader on my wall. And of course over here I've got my Star Wars hoodie with the badges. I've got an Outlanders badge on as well. And a bunch of patches. This one is my favourite, the Mos Eisley Spaceport. I hope to be adding more to this in the future. Sonic screwdriver. Who wants a sonic screwdriver? These days I'm all about wearable technology. Nah, sonic screwdrivers are better. So welcome to... oh. Hang on a second, I need to clean up here. Whew, okay. That's definitely a lot better. So this is something some of you may previously have seen. This is what I affectionately call the Nerd Cave. It's essentially the attic space with all the stuff in it, because it doesn't all fit in my room. So we're going to start off here at our lovely gigantic cutout of Darth Maul. Even though he was in Phantom Menace, he's a pretty cool character, especially in the Clone Wars cartoon. He is absolutely badass. Then another cutout. This is obviously the main man, Darth Vader, who most of the time ends up falling over. So if you hear a loud clatter, it's probably him. Down here amongst all the cleaning equipment, because I don't really have a space for it yet, because I don't have a phone jack that I can plug this into. This is an absolutely awesome TARDIS telephone. It does work, because I have tested it. I mean, look how cool this is. I love it. But I've got nowhere to plug it into at the moment. So it lives here, but thank you, Joe and Susie. I do love this. Hiding in all these bags is all the parts for the Dr. Octopus costume. You can see the claws in this bag here, and the tentacle segments live in these bags, along with a really old rocket launcher that I made at one point. It's a TARDIS hanging from the ceiling, and I constantly bang my head on it, but it looks cool, so it lives there. Woo! I think the Doctor is flying drunk. A poster from Star Wars Rebels, Long Live the Empire. I absolutely love the art style of this, and I bought this before I even saw Rebels, because I was like, I have to have it. I just wish it wasn't the Inquisitor. It would be so much better if it was Darth Vader, but hey ho, it's still a wicked poster. Some more Star Wars posters with a bunch more characters. This one's cool, it's like a celebration of like everything that's been in Star Wars. And we've got some Daleks moseying around London in front of Big Ben. On the beanbag we have a repainted giant X-Wing. This is one of the toys you can get. It is from the Star Wars Rebels range, but I didn't really like it because it was just a plain plastic, so I just gave it a really quick weathering up. It's just done with a load of acrylic. I just gave it a dirty wash and did some like blast marks and stuff, and gave it a few metallic highlights just so it had a little bit more depth than from when you bought it before. We have Chewie sitting in the corner because his cutout's very weak in the middle, so he can't stand up properly. And of course he's rebel, so he doesn't get to stand with the two Sith Lords over by the ladder. Help me you must, fallen I have. Then we've got this. This is the shelves of delicious, delicious goodness. But you can't eat it, but it's eye candy for me anyway. So we're going to start from the top and go down. So at the top here we've got a small but kind of interesting Spider-Man shelf. This was a Green Goblin pumpkin bomb that I made and I wasn't happy with it, so I distressed it, added a load of stuff to it and made it into a battle damaged pumpkin bomb, because otherwise it's a waste of a prop. That back there, that's one of the Doc Ock toy claws that came out when Spider-Man 2 came out. You can hold it by the handle at the back and you can squeeze the claws and you can make it grab stuff, but it's not that effective at grabbing things. It's still cool though. So we have some smaller toys here. We've got the Sandman, comic book version of the Green Goblin, and Spidey on a little Daily Bugle platform. Behind here we've got a fake license plate, obviously New York, Manhattan. It's a bit of tourist tech that you get. I bought that when I went to New York. A really cool Marvel box. This was actually a box that a t-shirt came in, but I did love the art on it, so I've kept the box. This is the Sam Raimi movie Green Goblin. the one that I've made the helmet off, and maybe one day we'll actually get around to making the full costume. Maybe one day. And this is also a Spider-Man that came out the same year. There are quite a few differences between the 2002 Spider-Man and the 2004 and 2006. So this is the 2002 one, who is, oh, not very stable. Little Spider-Man, just, you know, chilling on the front here. This is the comic book Spidey, with a comic book Venom, so they're both having a face-off. With Superior Spider-Man, one of my absolute favourite versions of Spider-Man, just chilling up the front here. If anybody doesn't know about Superior Spider-Man, this is when Dr. Octopus essentially did a mind swap with Peter Parker and stole Peter Parker's body and trapped Peter Parker's mind in his dying body. So Dr. Octopus's body is dead, but his mind lived on in Superior Spider-Man until that run of the comics ended and Peter Parker got his body back through many plot things. Honestly, read it, it's really cool. This is a 12-inch fully articulated Spider-Man. This came out when Spider-Man 2 was released. And this is another one, exactly the same as this, but I was gifted this one. And his hand is actually broken, it completely snapped off. So instead of fixing him up and selling him, I decided to give him a complete repaint and turn him into the black suited Spider-Man from Spider-Man 3 because I love the black suit. So those two are facing off there. And here we've got my small Dr. Octopus collection. This is a big Doc Ock walkie-talkie. That doesn't work because I don't have the Spider-Man walkie-talkie that it comes with. This again is a 2004 version of Spider-Man. This one actually has magnets in his feet so you can attach him to metal surfaces. So he sticks to stuff, which is pretty cool. Then we got another Doc Ock here with fully articulated tentacles, with Blue Tack holding his shades on because his shades come off so easily and I don't want to lose them. Then we've got another Doc Ock back here. This is one with a few tentacles missing. It was a boot sale buy that was given to me, but he's still pretty awesome, so he sits back there. And this one is a papercraft Doc Ock. I found a papercraft tutorial online, printed it off, and stuck it all together. So he looks really cool sitting at the back here, watching over all the other rocks, fighting Spidey. Can you tell I really liked Alfred Molina back in the day? And I still do. And down again we've got another small figure. This one is the Venom on the cracked Daily Bugle sign this time. Then we've got Spider-Man, who appears to be farting and levitating in midair. And then we've got a pretty wicked Doc Ock. So this is the shelf with all the action figures, so we start with the prequels from episode 1, going through to episode 2, merging with episode 3, then coming up to episode 4. But behind here is something that is really cool, because there's a lot of glare on the box, but this is actually my custom figure. It's my custom me. Back in the days where I had the longer hair, and you can't quite see it on camera, but there is red and blue hair highlights from the days where I did used to dye my fringe as well. And there's a little picture of me back in my rookie days of being a stormtrooper. So it's pretty cool actually having a boxed figure of myself. And we're going through episode 4, merging into episode 5, which then merges in to episode 6. And there is a gap for any of the future Star Wars figures that I want to purchase, because there's not many from Force Awakens that I want to. So I've got a couple in my room and a box Captain Phasma that sits up here. Some of these figures on the shelf, as you can see, are original ones. They're loose figures, so they're not really worth much, but they are pretty cool to have up on the shelf. So all these like really plasticky looking ones, the shorter ones with the slightly squiffy sculpts. These ones all here, these are classics. This Stormtrooper is an original 1977 Stormtrooper. The Wampa and the Tauntaun are original figures, along with the speeder bike and the one that's in the box. This is more the miscellaneous Star Wars shelf. So we start over here. This is the box of VHS tapes. This is the special edition 1997 release. This is the ones that I watched all the time as a kid, remembering having to rewind the videos all the way to the beginning after you finished watching it, or if you couldn't be bothered before you started watching it the next day. Moving through here, we've got some minifigs. the Lego ones. There's ones from a Lego Advent Calendar, ones from different sets, ones that have been either randomly given to me or were key rings. We've got like little Lego mini kits, and then we've got some collectible smaller figures. Then moving on to some of the bigger stuff. So back here is the 30th anniversary set of playing cards. Not opened, limited edition. They look very fancy. This, for anybody who's played Star Wars Battlefront 2 will know that this is my favourite class of clone. This is a clone marine. In the game he comes with a chain gun rather than one of these, but he's got one of these for the figure. And this is an awesome little mini bust. I do love this one. These are some of the Mighty Mug figures, so a Mighty Mug Boba Fett, Mighty Mug Vader, and there's a Mighty Mug Darth Maul. The thing with these Mighty Mugs is they were popular when they first came out. I guess you would call these the first kind of pop vinyls. But these were all made with recycled plastic, and Boba Fett was the first one I got. He was... I don't know, I can't remember why I got him. I remember I got Darth Maul because I passed all my GCSE exams with flying colours, so this is my lovely, lovely Boba Fett. He's the first one I got. Bobblehead, Stormtrooper, Vader, Akbar, Wicket, Greedo, Master Yoda, and a battle droid. There's a tiny half helmet clone trooper fridge magnet back there, which is written all in... is that Japanese? I think that's Japanese. That might be Korean. I don't know. I can't read that particular dialect. A creepy looking Luke Skywalker head. Inside here is actually a Hoth playset. If I can very carefully get him out. I said carefully. So in here is a mini Hoth playset where I keep two little stormtroopers to keep them all safe so I don't lose them. And we've got some of the cutesy figures. These are like the kindergarten Star Wars toys, but I really like them. A few of them came with a Millennium Falcon, which is why I have them. The Darth Vader mug. This is the unbroken one. The slightly broken one I have is the one I actually use as a mug, but this one is for show. Then I've got a couple of stuffed Ewoks back there. There's trophies for what they did to the Empire. Jawa! I like Jawas. Jawas are cool. There's a stress ball Darth Vader head. So, if you're ever feeling stressed, you can just... But I wouldn't recommend doing that to the real Darth Vader. You might not live too long to tell the tale. In here, this is actually a set of Star Wars coasters. You'll be able to see like all the different sort of designs that I'd have on them, which is... all the posters from all the different countries around the world. So they've got some really cool variants in there. This is just an R2-D2 box that contains a bunch of spares for the Lego sets on the other side of the shelf. And this is a box with a lot of random stuff in it, including some of the little mini card game figurines. This is some stuff that I got from the 501st Legion UK Garrison when my dad contacted them saying it was my birthday all those years ago when, I first discovered the 501st Legion and I actually wanted to join the Garrison. It's a real shame that, stuff has happened since then that have made me not want to be a part of it because, the reason that the whole 501st Legion was set up was to, do good and benefit other people through your hobby, so I do still have that. Random. Well, that was rude. The little random toy lightsabers. These are the ones that you get in the your cereal boxes and your Happy Meals. I remember getting this one in a cereal box when Revenge of the Sith came out. These are glow in the dark and these are actually little ball mazes. Not sure where the ball is on this one. I can hear it, so it's in there somewhere. The tiniest little droid you'll ever see. This is a little Millennium Falcon video game thing from back in the day when McDonald's toys were actually kind of cool. Obi-Wan looks very unsure about the career choices he's made in life. This guy is just chilled as anything. Now here's some of the cool stuff. These are the little card game figurines. You've got like the AT-AT. There's a few speeder bikes. And my personal favourite, two tiny little Tauntauns. The next two shelves that have Star Wars stuff on them are vehicles. So here we have the huge Imperial Star Destroyer. Not the Super Star Destroyer that costs all the money in the world and takes your entire lifetime to build. This did take about 4 evenings worth of time to put together. But it's a really cool ship. This is a kit build of a Slave 1 and a Lego build of the Slave 1. Darth Vader voice changer helmet. This is the little kiddie's Millennium Falcon, but it was too adorable not to buy, so I bought it. These were given to me by my friend Will. I've got a really cool X-Wing and a Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. And if you look in there, you can just about see a tiny Vader in the cockpit. And there's also a tiny Luke, but it's not R2-D2. R2-D2 has been replaced. Vader's casually looking on from the distance back there. This one was another little kit build. This is a mini builder for a TIE Interceptor. There's a Hoth laser turret, and this one here is a Hoth ATST, manned by the Imperial gunner. And these are some really cool boxes for the stuff I've got on the shelf at the bottom. I do keep the boxes if they look cool like this, because these are reproductions of original vintage toys, so they keep sort of the classic look for the packaging. Okay, this is one of the last bits of the Star Wars up here now. This one is a Cologne turbo tank. It is absolutely huge, and it's got all kinds of things on it. It's got sound effects, it's got lights, all these different compartments open up. So you've got like the driving sections in there, the different turrets. In here I've got a load of the battle packs from the action figures that came with all extra weapons. In here I've got a hidden stash of old Clone Wars dog tags. So I did used to collect them, which was... they're pretty cool. I prefer it if it was more original stuff now, but there are some really neat ones in there. Hiding back here you can see the Star Wars Vault, which is a book filled with like a bunch of stuff like old blueprints, random collectibles, and like some cool set pictures, things of that nature. This here is my Endor AT-AT. It is gorgeous. It's the Endor one because it's muddy. That's the only way you can really tell the difference, is if it's got mud on it or if it's snowy. You've got the segment up here for the guy to fit in. And on the other side of the AT-AT there's a bit that you can open, you can put your hand in and you can control the movement of the head. So it's a puppeteered AT-AT, which is pretty cool. And also... it has cool laser noises. Always a win in my book. Hiding behind that we have quite a recent purchase that I found in a local antique store near where I live. There's a stall, well there's a couple stalls actually, that do half decent old Star Wars toys, and I found this and I checked the price guides online. It was being sold for what you'd normally be able to sell it at, not too expensive, but I decided to buy it because I really like it. An old commemorative edition which has a Boba Fett, a Darth Vader and a Stormtrooper in there. I just really like the look of them, so I decided to get the box. Underneath there's a pretty cool box for some Star Wars Vans, which I do own, but they're like mega uncomfortable, so I need to wear them in a bit more before I can actually wear them out. This is an old 1978, I think, 3PO. Just looking very, very worried at the fact that, you know, I collect all this. This here is the reproduction of the original Endor AT-ST. I really like it. It's got all like the little flaps for like the eyes. It's got interchangeable guns. You've got this one at the front here, or you've got the bigger one down at the bottom. You can open up the top and you can sit both your pilots in there. So I've got one guy just leaning at the top here, just, you know, having a casual stroll, and the young guy leaning on the side, just like, hey, we're part of the Empire, we've got this all under control. Now we've got the very small section of Doctor Who stuff. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Doctor Who, but there's a lot of merchandise that I just really don't like. A lot of the figures are just either very poorly made, or I just don't really like the actual figure. So I don't collect a lot of Doctor Who stuff, but this is what I do have. This came out, this book here, around the 50th anniversary, so this is another Vault book, so it's the same as the Star Wars one, but it's about the 50 years of Doctor Who, all the way from 1963 to 2000 and whenever. Back here we've got this, which is the Journal of impossible things. This is one of the few bits of merchandise that I actually really liked and I really wanted to get. So this is a reproduction of a journal that the Doctor had in an episode where he's chased by aliens known as the Family of Blood, and in order to hide from them he has to go and turn himself human. And but in his human form he has all these dreams of all these adventures that he has. So in his human form he ends up writing and drawing pictures about it in order to sort of like clear his mind and try and figure out, you know, what's going on. So like you can see the TARDIS here, that there is I think that's a Acrylotane, and you can see sketches of all his identities from David Tennant all the way to you can see I can't exactly, I think that one there is William Hartnell. It's hard to tell. Yeah, this is just a really nice, I just love the look of this book, so I'm very happy to actually still have this. And I believe there's some, yeah, there's pages at the back so you can actually use it as a journal, but I don't want to deface this, it's too beautiful. And I actually know one of the people who starred in this episode, so if you're watching, hi Lauren, how you doing? I'm just going to give you an awkward shout out right now. Lauren is the, if you've seen this episode, she is the girl who's a member of the Family of Blood with the balloon. The creepy girl. Trust me, she's very nice in real life. This is a die-cast K9, because K9 is awesome. If you don't like K9, there is something wrong with you. Hiding back here, we do have another book. This is again like a 50th special one. This is all about the monsters and the villains. I won't try and drag this out because I'll probably knock stuff off. It was actually given to me as a gift by a couple of patrons back at my old job at the garden centre, which I'm now going back to. Because they knew that I really liked Doctor Who, because they came and saw me at a craft fair. And they came and saw me again this year, which was really nice of them. So thank you guys for doing that. So that was really awesome. I've still got your book and it's still on show. This in front of it is a replica of the 4th Doctor's sonic screwdriver in sort of a TARDIS console-esque display case. If I take this off very carefully... Ooh. So you can't read it very clearly because I've still got the plastic over it to try and protect it. But it's 445 of 800 screwdrivers that were made. And this is the screwdriver. So it's all made out of metal. It's really, really nice, and it's got the sort of spring action that the classic ones have. This is what a sonic screwdriver was like back in the olden days. Just really like the old designs. They just do look like they were made out of a mashup of really random parts of tools. But that's kind of what Doctor Who was. Just a really random mashup of really cool things. This here is one of the just normal toy ones, the plastic ones you can get from the shop. This one is John Pertwee's sonic screwdriver, and does the same thing, comes down, but it makes noises. But all these sonic screwdrivers have the soundboard of the new sonic screwdrivers, the new Who ones, so they don't have any of the sound effects from the classic show, which is a real shame, because I'd like some varying sound effects from the classic screwdrivers. This one here, this one is Paul McGann's from the TV movie, I think it is. It's definitely not 4ths, and 5th didn't have one, so it's from 6 onwards up, but I think this one's McGann's. Yeah, the same noise, but it's a button rather than the spring one. Then these two, I've got Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant sonic screwdrivers. They're all pretty much the same, apart from there's a slightly different colour on the handles. And I do have the Matt Smith / Peter Capaldi one, as you saw back in my room. I don't have the new Peter Capaldi one, because as far as I know it hasn't been released yet, but I will get it when it comes out. So back here, of course, I have 2 figures of my favouriteest companion ever, Ace. These were given to me by my friend who's a 7th Doctor cosplayer, so of course I refer to him as the Professor, so thank you a lot, Professor. These are really, really awesome. I still love them. This one is my favourite one at the moment. I'm keeping it in its box because it's got so many little bits and bobs, I just don't want to lose them. But the detailing on the jacket is amazing. So this is the version of the Ace costume that I have. This is Season 25 Remembrance of the Daleks. Which you can tell by obviously the shirt and some of the different badges she has on her jacket. So I do have most of these badges. Some of them I've taken off because they have a tendency to fall off, so when I'm just wearing it out and about, I don't want to lose them. As well, it has Ace's backpack, 3 cans of Nitro 9, which is homemade explosives that Ace makes, because she's awesome like that. Just some varying arms there, you know, just in case you want to change your arms. That's a anti-tank rocket with the gun and the Omega Bat. This one here is the original Daypole Ace, so this is the figures that you'd get back in the day when Doctor Who was being aired. Spider-Man just fell off and committed suicide. Why is everything falling down on me today? Sorry, back to Ace. So yeah, so this is an original one, and I absolutely adore this one. Again, thank you, Professor, for this, but like you can look and see all the details that they've done and green printed all the badges on, because I mean Ace's costume is a nightmare for people who reproduce the toys, except for I don't know what a giant American flag is doing there. I don't recall that being on her jacket in any of the seasons. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But looking at this, this is still season 25 because which one changes? You see, I haven't like actually been researching Ace like a lot recently. When I first made the costume I did, so I'd know all the changes. I think it's this one. It's this patch that changes between the seasons, and there's other badges that get added. But it's really cool. There's the hammer and sickle star patch, which people shout at me for in one of my other videos saying I'm a communist without realising it's part of a costume. But I do love this jacket and I wear it out. So there you go. You go sit back there, Ace, and try not to blow anything up, please. K9! K9! Tiny Paradigm Daleks that no one actually likes. Clockwork Robot, but he's missing his shoes. 12-inch David Tennant, because David Tennant is hot. So, yeah, of course I got the 12-inch action figure. But I mean, that stare though, that's a little bit on the creepy side. Now here we've got some more action figures. These are the only half-decent action figures that I own of Doctor Who. These are the only ones I've ever really been interested in. So, here you've got Anthony Ainley's only action figure, as far as I know. Which really sucks because this isn't even his proper master costume. This is the Planet of Fire variant, but this toy is actually a reproduction of John Sims' master but with a different head, and it's obviously repainted. Which is really sad that Ant doesn't have his own master toy yet. I think Delgado does, of him in his proper outfit, but Anthony doesn't. But this is another master back here. This is the really creepy one from Deadly Assassin. The sculpt doesn't look quite like the Deadly Assassin. Oh, this is a very creepy slow zoom. I hope you guys don't have nightmares about this tonight. Oh, you don't realise how creepy that is until you zoom right in. This looks more like Jeffrey Beavers, but this is the Deadly Assassin variant because it's got the thing. I forgot the name. I haven't seen this episode in ages, but it's the president's like robe, and I think, does he have the cane as well? I can't quite see. No, he has the gun. But he tries to use the Eye of Harmony to get back some more life, and it doesn't work because he falls down a hole in the ground. And we've got one of my favourite Doctor Who monsters. This guy is a sea devil. He is awesome. In this show they do look really rubbery and really dumb sometimes. You can see bits of them held together by duct tape. But they're really cool, and I hope that they make a comeback in the future without like an updated design. So come back the same way the Zygons did, just improve the costume a little bit, but keep the design the same. This is one of Sutek's mummy servant robots from Pyramids of Mars, a fantastic Tom Baker episode. This is a Vok robot from the episode Robots of Death. And I've given him the number V17 because I got this one for my 17th birthday. So I was like, yes, you will be V17. And there's a red hole in his head because if you hold him up to the light, it makes his eyes glow. Because their eyes glow in the episode. So that is a really nice little touch. This guy here is the really creepy Morbius monster from the episode Brain of Morbius. Again, a really good Doctor Who episode, but I haven't seen it in years. So there's Morbius's brain, and there's the Frankenstein monster that he's put together in order to give himself a body, so that he can roam around again and cause havoc because of things that I can't quite remember in the plot. These two are just two of the new Who figures. These are the David Tennant era Cybermen and Dalek Sec. Behind these guys you've also got the minifigures of all of the Doctors. Well, it was all the Doctors at the time, it's the 11 Doctors micro figure set. This one here is David Tennant's TARDIS console with the missing actual round, background of the console because I lost most of it or it broke, but I've still got the actual main console part. And if I remove that, there's the 11th Doctor figure box set back there. Here there's the last few Star Wars bits, so there's a cardboard cutout, or half of one of a Stormtrooper, half of a Clone Trooper helmet, a small version of Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber from a plug-in video game, a squidgy R2-D2 that beeps. And I'm just getting super excited looking back at these, because this is Robot Wars. These are all my old Robot Wars toys, and for anyone who doesn't know, they have currently, 2 days ago, they started filming the brand new series of Robot Wars. Now, the last time I saw Robot Wars was about, 15 odd years ago, I think. I can check by trying to find the copyright on one of these toys. Well, the copyright on Matilda's bum says copyright BBC the year 2000. 16 years ago, but Robot Wars did run on for longer than these toys were first produced. So say anywhere from 10 to 15 years since Robot Wars has last been on our TV screens. I can't remember the exact year that Robot Wars got cancelled. But so these are a bunch of my old figures that I still had from obviously back in the year 2000, so they're 16 years old, these ones. Some of them missing parts, like Sir Kill-a-Lot over there is missing his lance, but now I've, got around to making like plastic sculptures and stuff, then I can hopefully make him a new lance at some point. But we're going to go through all these guys in order. So for anyone who doesn't know, these guys, not including these two, these are all the house robots, not including Mr. Psycho and Growler, because they're the house robots that came into the show later and nobody really liked them. So you've got Matilda, Dead Metal, Shunt, Sergeant Bash, Sir Kill-a-Lot and Refbot. People didn't really like Refbot either. He was a little bit of an annoyance, so we just ignore him. And Sir Kill-a-Lot was the leader, and I think pretty much everyone's favourite. He was definitely my favourite. That is a face of no mercy. This thing is huge in real life. It's probably half my size in height, maybe a little bit taller. And these guys down here are some of the contestant robots. These two at the front are my favourites. This is Hypnodisc, Spin to Win. And this guy here, this is Razor. He is my absolute favourite robot. This guy was just an absolute beauty and was a real joy to see him fight because he'd have a really powerful pincer that would just grab... Yeah, you can see why I said they're old and broken. You can just grab robots and puncture a massive hole in them and just drag them round. And Hypnodisc was my second favourite because he was just absolutely lethal with a spinning disc that would just shred robots. This is why I'm very happy that the show's coming back, because they're reintroducing all the old house robots. Looks like they're going to go back to the way Robot Wars was, which makes me very excited. And over here we've got Firestorm, Panic Attack, Chaos 2 and Pussycat. I don't really like Pussycat. I think it was alright until he beat Razor in a fight and then I really didn't like it. So this is something I got a couple of years ago at a boot sale. Apparently the person who's selling this said I was the only person who recognised what it was, and it only cost me £3 for all of this, which is so incredibly awesome. So this is obviously a scaled down version of the Robot Wars arena on the TV show. This up here is where the drivers of the robots would be, and they'd go fight in this arena. So here this would be the pit, that if the robot goes down there they're immediately out. This over here would be the flame pit, so all the fire would come up and it would roast all your electrics. This here, this is the drop zone, so if you stay there for too long, something really heavy will fall from the arena ceiling and drop on your robot. And this here was the arena floor flipper. So again, if you're sitting on that, you get flipped up. And most of the time they'd land on their feet, but sometimes they'd get turtled and won't be able to get back up. So again, on here you've got all the house robots. I've got them all in their CPZs, so this is the corner bit, so it's the corner patrol zone. You'd normally have only 2 house robots per battle in opposite CPZs, so if contestant robots went in the CPZs, then the house robots had authority to do whatever they want. So any robot that goes into these markings would just be at the mercy of the house robot that's in there at the time. So we've got a few more different contestants. Obviously we've got the ones here that you recognise: Razor, Hypnodisc, there's a Panic Attack, there's Firestorm. This guy here is also one of my all-time favourites. This guy is Really Big Cheese and has one of the greatest flippers in Robot Wars. This guy was able to flip a robot from the middle of the arena all the way out in one huge flip. He's the only robot that's ever been able to do that. This guy here, this is Exterminator. He's not one of the more well-known robots, but I think he actually did pretty well in quite a few fights. This guy is Wild Thing. It's got a spinning blade and a sort of a little flipper. It didn't do too well in fights. I remember it getting quite far in one season, I think, but it got really badly damaged and it didn't make it to the final. But it's a cool little design, pretty unique, which is one of the best things about Robot Wars, that all the different designs that come through. No two robots were really the same. Megamorg, that's got like a front scoopy flipper, and had a really cool rounded design, so if someone flipped him, then he wouldn't get stuck on his back. Well, the toy does because it's made differently, but the robot would then just roll over and go back on its wheels. This guy here, don't actually remember what he's called. Might be Terahertz, I can't quite remember. If anybody knows what this guy is, do let me know down in the comments. This guy here, this is Dominator, if I recall. He does get pretty far in quite a few of his fights. He's a decent robot, good wedge shape, good axe. And I always remember they boasted about the type of paint they used to cover their robot with. Pussycat, you know I don't like that one. Tornado. I hate this robot. This robot was an absolute cheating git. He was alright when he first came into the wars, because he's a robot that can run either way up, he's got a spinning disc, and he was a pretty powerful pushing machine, so he did quite well in his fights. But there came a lot of stuff and a lot of controversy, especially when people were thinking some of the fights were being rigged. Like, he got stuck on the pit one time because he had something that wouldn't let him go down, and I think he still won that fight. There was a lot of stuff going on in Robot Wars that I think eventually caused the show to get cancelled, and some of it was from Tornado. So I don't like Tornado. I'm blaming you. I'm blaming you for the reason Robot Wars hasn't been on TV in nearly 15 years. This one here, this is Gemini. This is a pretty cool robot that actually split into two robots. So you can see the split down the middle where they'd separate, and it's got two flippers. You think, oh hey, that's unfair to essentially have two robots in the arena, but they made a rule for Gemini that if one of the split robots got deactivated, like say if this side didn't work but this side did, then the entire robot would be out. That robot wouldn't be allowed to fight anymore. So I think again it did fairly well, but it was always one side of the robot died quicker than the other, so they didn't get too far into the series. And here we go. This is Plunderbird 5. As you might be able to tell, this is a little sort of pun on the Thunderbirds, made by the Plunderbird team. They did all, I think they did 5 versions of Plunderbird, obviously to represent the 5 version of the Thunderbirds. And I still remember the song. They had their own song that they'd sing in the middle of the arena, and it went, "We are big boys, we build big toys, we're handy with a spanner, and work we go berserk and hit it with a hammer." It's been far too long since I've seen Robot Wars, and I still remember that. And the rug that I've been sitting on the floor, this is actually the same kind of fur they used on the robot in Robot Wars called Deator, who again is one of my favourites. And he was an entirely metal built robot, but they covered him with fur, so the running joke was Sergeant Bash, or he'd just go over the flame pit, it would just cause him to catch fire, and he'd be running around the arena on fire, and he was probably one of the funniest robots on the show. Up here we've got some really cool posters from like different comic books. So these are Marvel ones, this is DC. These were given to me by my friend Amy, thank you very much for that. And the one that fell down on the floor is the Hulk vs Hulkbuster, which is a pretty cool poster. But you can stay on the floor if you don't want to stay on the ceiling. You get no special treatment. An old Star Wars poster. This is an old Spider-Man pinball machine, which is pretty crap. But I'll go show you what a proper pinball machine looks like in a minute. Victory of the Daleks poster. Cardboard cutout of the amazing K9. And over there's a map of Skyrim because there was a space over there and I needed to fill it with something. So that is the entirety of the nerd cave. If I rambled on a little bit on some of them, like the robots, then tough, because I'm really excited that Robot Wars is coming back, and so should you be. So if you've never seen it before, look on YouTube, there's episodes on there, and get so hyped for the fact that Robot Wars is actually coming back. Oh, the child in me is so excited. And last but certainly not least, we have this space out here. This is like the really big shed that lives outside. It's been like a husk for the past God knows how many years, and only got it like properly built last year. But it's the space where we house all the big things, like the pinball machine and my dad's bike. So starting off on this corner, here is the set of armour, my first ever set. It is definitely in retirement now. Now that my boss has worn it out, I went to unpack all the stuff and put it back on there, and it's broken. This suit is broken, so it is now officially in retirement. Even brows coming off. Stay. It will still be with me because it's got a lot of sentimental value, but you are now just a decoration. You can retire from trooping. Over here we got the really tall figures. There's the First Order Stormtrooper and the Darth Vader. They're pretty much like the guardians of the door.
Drop the weapons, now! Move out, let's go, sir! Resistance fighters, put down your weapons!
So these guys are actually motion activated, so if I just dance in front of Vader, he should say something.
Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy.
You are not James L. Jones, you are a lie. Then we've got some of the smaller figures up on the shelf here. Then here we've got the Green Goblin mask that I made, and we'll be uploading a video on the build process and how to very soon, so look out for that. And there's a General Grievous bust I've had for years, and it's absolutely awesome. Then moving on here, this is a pachinko machine. So this is like a Japanese thing where you put balls in, and then you're trying to get your balls in the hole, and then it's like a one-armed bandit. You got to get the numbers to match, but it's like a game of luck mostly. This was actually, I think it was a fairly cheap buy, because one of my dad's friends buys, sells and repairs pinball machines and arcade cabinets for a living, so he's able to give us good deals on stuff like this. And so this one was really cheap because it didn't have its own cabinet, so Dad's built like a wooden one for it, so all the insides actually have a place to go in it, and it all works properly. If I open up this drawer, oh, there's the other comics in there as well. I've got some Spider-Man, there's a Deadpool, that's Spider-Verse, and I've got some Judge Dredd in there as well. But this is what I was after, so you've got all these ball bearings. Put them in this bit here, and you use this and you twist it, and you've got to try and get the balls sort of in that middle bit there, and it's not the easiest of things in the world. Don't know what these buttons do. So yeah, that's basically about it. I don't have any idea how you're supposed to win on this machine. Down here we've got a Darth Maul lightsaber toy, and this is an Episode 3 Clone Trooper blaster rifle because I didn't have anywhere else for them to go. And I just saw a chicken run outside. That's Maisie. Oh, there's Ace. Yeah, I named one of the chickens after a Doctor Who companion as well. So these guys live outside. They have a little house, but we let them roam in the garden as well, so. Oh, it's only me, silly chickens. Got a Death Star light, which I haven't put up yet, but it will be going somewhere up there. So it looks like the Death Star's about to blow up New York. On the side here, we also have the Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 3 2005 released Force Effects Master Replica's lightsaber. That's a mouthful. But it's a really cool one with the blade that lights up and the different sound effects. There's no batteries in it at the moment. When it's a little bit darker, I will show you the blade and stuff in action. Can you guys spot the little Easter egg I have on my wall? No? Spider-Man's on the top of the building. It's a small Spider-Man that I got out of Kinder Egg, so I've blue tacked him to the wall. Last but not least, this is the Star Wars Episode 1 pinball machine. This thing is amazing. See, on the camera here, the screen's flickering. It's not doing that in real life. That's just how the camera's recording it. I guess it stops people recording it as easily. It's the same thing like TVs and some cinema screens do. So it's not got that flicker on it. But on the top here is my little homemade astromech droid. So even with the flashy screen, I'll still give you a little sneak peek of kind of what this does. I will be doing a full video on this pinball cabinet at some point soon, but for now I will try and balance this somewhere so you can actually see what it does.
Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Turn around.
That's my high score. I've still yet to beat myself and I've just missed out on being the grand champion, which is very, very frustrating. And also, if you're wondering who Pig is, that's my dad's gamer nickname. So that's it. That's like all the nerdy things I own. Now, last time I did something like this, well, like the I Love Star Wars video, you get the comments that are like, oh my god, how can you afford this? You must be like super rich. Not really. This is my entire life's collection, so it's sort of like a thing of you buy little bits here and there and then it slowly builds up. It's not like I bought this all at once. And some things I haven't bought, some things have been gifted to me, some things we can only get because we know people that do stuff like this. Wouldn't even have a pinball if I didn't know someone that was like, hey, do you want a pinball machine? Like, yeah, of course I do. So, there's a lot of people out there who have way more expensive collections than I do. But I just want to show you guys what I got because it's like my life's work essentially. My life's work, just buying many Star Wars things. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one, I guess. So until then, may the Force be with you. Bye!